Alright, hello everybody. This is my Suzuki DRZ400SM. This is a 2018 model. I'm having the same problem that most people have of their countershaft nut coming loose. The nut that is underneath this sprocket cover that holds on your drive sprocket. And of course, if that comes loose, then the piddly little case saver in here might break and your chain will come in and slap a hole in your case. It depends really where, but that'll happen most likely. Today I'm going to show you how to fix that problem. These are the tools you're going to need. What I have here is a ball peen hammer, a punch, a flathead screwdriver, a brush of some kind for brushing out the surfaces. For your Loctite, you will need a torque wrench. You obviously don't need a snap-on torque wrench, just what I brought from work. A socket adapter if you have a 3/8 torque wrench, a 1/2 inch drive ratchet with a 30mm socket, a 3/8 drive ratchet with an 8mm socket on top of that. And then we can fix this. So let me set you up and we can start doing that. You'll first want to start by taking off the two 8mm bolts right here. There will be a little wire clip right here on the top one. If your bike has it, just take it and flip it up. And right here is your cover. And this is your case saver. This sits right in front of the chain and bolts through everything, acts as a spacer at the same time. But in case if your chain ever breaks a link or comes loose, the chain will ride on this surface right here and hopefully get ejected out away from your case and the motor right here. Now we have the bent over tab right there. You need to straighten that out, and then as you can see, hopefully it'll be able to, when I checked the other day it was loose. This was rocking back and forth in here, but if your nut is perfectly fine and it's tight, you can go ahead and do this as well in case later in the future, and you can see the factory marks so no one's actually ever been in here. So what I'm going to take the flathead screwdriver. I'm going to get the tip of it under that flat and try to pound it back straight to take the nut off, because this is a safety, like a mechanical type lock that is preventing this nut technically from coming off right now. Now you got the lip up a little bit. Go in here with my punch and we'll flatten it out. Now that's like that. You get your 30mm socket. Now you see how easy that was to take off? It should not be like that. This will be torqued down to 81 foot-pounds. I have the manual. I will show you guys later. There's your nut. You can see on the inside, a little rusty. That very much could have been the reason why it was coming loose just over time. And right here we have our, I forgot the technical name for this, but this is a lock washer of sort. And you see the edge where I pounded it back straight. You should technically replace these, but what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use this side. I'm just going to use the other side of it. And then that's it for taking stuff off. You don't need to take the sprocket off, but obviously if your sprocket is starting to look something like a shark's fin, I can't get that, there you go. See, if your sprocket's starting to look like a shark fin, immediately replace your sprockets. Your chain is stretched out and it's causing to destroy your sprockets, and it's no good for the life of the chain or the bike. You'll start damaging other things. And there was one time where the rear sprocket was so shark finned over, the customer was complaining that his clutch was slipping, so that was funny. So now you have the counter shaft threads here and the nut threads here. We want to take the brush and clean all the surfaces, and we're going to put 4 dots of Loctite and everything, put everything back together, torque it down, and then that'll be good. As you can see inside of there, the camera, the rust is all gone. That's what we want, nice clean surface. And now I'm going to do the same thing here. So now all your surfaces are clean. Of course, there's a little bit of surface rust there, but it was a lot better than what it was. So we're going to take our locking washer, put that back on. See, there's splines here to match up with the splines in the shaft. So whenever this is folded over on the nut, that actually prevents everything from coming off. Make sure that's seated all the way on the back of the sprocket. And there is a bevel on this. As you can see, there's a bevel facing forward. You want the bevel to face out, not in. Out. And then this is the thread locker I'm using. Permatex red, high strength and high temperature, for whenever the engine goes through its heat cycles on and off. Obviously, I'm just going to put 4 little dots around this. That's what I think it needs. If you think differently, obviously put more on. Now we're going to take our nut. Our nut has this countersunk in the inside of it. That's to make way for all the splines here on the shaft. Make sure that goes in towards the motor and the flat side sticks out. I'm going to put this on and give it a good couple back and forths to make sure that Loctite's not spreading out. Now I'm going to put the bike into first gear. It's locked. Obviously, with me torquing on this, it will spin over the engine. Grab my torque wrench and my socket adapter. I've got my wrench set to 81 foot-pounds. And go ahead and torque this. I'm pretty sure everything, so everything's going to start moving, so I'll show you a trick for this. So seeing how it was really only to get 32 foot-pounds on it before everything started moving, I'm going to take this block that I cut out of a 2x4, and we're going to take it, this is wood. You're not going to bend any parts with this. I'm going to take it, I'm going to stick it right here. And whenever the chain starts to move, this will wedge it in place, and if a tooth wants to dig into the wood, it will. That's why you want a softer material on stuff like this. It'll destroy the wood, not my chain or my sprockets. There we go. Just like that. So now that's all torqued on. Obviously a conventional click type torque wrench will work perfectly fine. And now we're going to flatten down the opposite side of the lock washer, so that we have our original spot that's right here. I'm just going to go 180 degrees and go right here. I'm going to take the screwdriver, the flathead screwdriver again, and pound an edge over. This was the first step I did. All I did was get an edge. Then I'm going to try to finish everything off, go in here with the flat punch like that, and punch this flat onto this flat surface. Go evenly side to side. Don't pound it all down in one spot. Hit a little on the right, hit a little bit on the left, hit a little bit in the middle. Alright, just like that, we have the locking washer bent over it, so in case, like it did, this nut comes loose, this will prevent it from slipping off. Now I'm going to show you all this stuff in the book. So we have this page in the climber manual. Here, if you want to, maybe my shaky hands, you want to pause this and read everything through it. You want to go here and pause here and read everything through it. If you're just looking for foot poundage or torque specs, tighten the sprocket nut to 110 Newton meters or 81 foot-pounds. And then this shows you everything about the shaft spacer and the seal on the inside. I wasn't too worried about that because my bike doesn't have a main shaft leaking. But yeah, and they show you a set of vice grips, not vice grips, but channel locks to flatten it over. Whatever method you have, I just thought the screwdriver was easier. But yeah, if your sprocket looks different or has holes in it, this might be an E model or a different from what my bike was. This bike hasn't changed in the past 20 years, but different bikes obviously have different parts. And this fix does go for if you have an aftermarket sprocket or anything like that. So it's just if this nut comes loose, that's all you do. You just take everything off, get a clean surface, put everything back on with a little bit of Loctite, and make sure it's torqued. If you're that guy that uses an impact, go ahead. You know, it's your bike, not mine. But yeah, after that, just go ahead with reassembly of your case saver and cover. And if you have a torque wrench and you really want to know what these bolts are torqued to, just torque them to 88 inch-pounds. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps you fix some problems, and hopefully your chain doesn't come flying off while you're riding.